podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier networks all over the country, 200 radio stations nationwide, Saturday, March 7th, 2020. This is episode 1675. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast comes to you from Twit's LastPass studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, if you'd like to talk high tech, let's talk it together. You and me. And coronavirus makes three. Wow. South by Southwest, the latest casualty. Although I think you can blame the city of Austin. No conference wants to cancel. And you would think no city would want to cancel. South by Southwest is actually a month-long festival. It is a technology festival. They call that the interactive part. But it's also a film and comedy and music festival, and it goes on and on and on. I guess it's only 9 days, but it feels like it's a lot longer. But think about it. That's thousands of hotel rooms, many restaurants. All will be kind of empty thanks to the coronavirus. It's kind of sad. Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok had all canceled, but it really was, I think, the city of Austin and their fears over the coronavirus. We're waiting to hear about some other conferences coming up. We're 41 days off from the National Association of Broadcasters Convention in Vegas. I hear Vegas is pretty quiet these days. What happens in Vegas pretty much does stay in Vegas, if it happens in Vegas at all. So that's a bit of a shift. Wow, Twitter telling its employees, Google telling its employees no unnecessary travel. I actually performed a death-defying feat. I flew to St. Louis on Wednesday, did a conference, a panel session on Thursday. We had a meetup with fans at a saloon, and I flew back. And, there were people wearing masks, a few. There were, I think, I was cautious. We'll talk to Johnny Jett in about an hour and a half about what to do if you're gonna fly. How safe it is. He's always said, wipe everything down. And I think pretty much all the health experts are just saying, well, do the thing you would do normally to avoid seasonal flu and colds and all of that. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face unless you've just washed your hands. Sanitize. I couldn't believe it. I found a bottle of hand sanitizer at the airport. I said, "You have these?" I bought one for my wife and one for me. I did not stock up. We've closed our studio. Normally we have an open studio here in the Northern California area in Petaluma, but it wasn't so much for me. I wasn't so worried. I keep some social distancing. We make you sit 6 feet away, and I wash my hands after I shake yours. But my staff said, we're nervous because we get visitors from all over the world. We're nervous. All right, I understand that. I can't subject my staff to that. So here we are in a, Apple's saying already, we're going to be delayed on some products. In fact, the rumor is they were supposed to have an event in about 3 weeks announcing, we're pretty sure, a new $400 iPhone and a perhaps new iPads. And the rumor was at least one of those products has been delayed to the fall due to manufacturing problems. I don't know. And I wonder if they'll have that event. Most technology companies can do those events without the face-to-face. They can stream it. Google's decided to stream its developers conference, Google I/O. Facebook's canceled its developers conference, F8. You know those food deliveries? Yes, there's certain businesses, certain tech businesses are going to do very well from all this, right? Zoom conferencing stock way up because, well, that makes sense. Skype and Zoom and FaceTime and all those products are going to have a boom. Of course they are. Because, in fact, I could do this radio show at home if I had to, using products like that. Postmates, which delivers right to your door. They've added a new option on the app that says, just leave the food there. Like, drop it. You can have no contact deliveries left at the door, a no contact, I don't want to see you or touch you option. Facebook banning ads and listings that sell medical face masks. They're going after, as is Google, they're targeting bogus products that say, spider venom will keep you from getting COVID-19 or whatever it is. Instagram too. eBay bans new listings for hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, and surgical masks because, well, have you seen the prices? People are gouging. Apple says employees in Silicon Valley and Seattle should work from home. Seattle's really hard hit. Microsoft's doing the same thing, of course. I really like this. Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Apple, Microsoft, and Google, they have a lot of hourly workers. And they're telling them, work from home, and we'll give you your regular pay. No problem. Or take a sick day, and we'll pay you. No problem. I think that's the right thing to do. I do. I think that's the right thing to do. So you're just, we're sitting and watching, aren't we? Be careful. So now here's another one. It turns out the smartphone is probably as bad as a doorknob. Maybe worse. Some earlier viruses, and I think coronavirus would probably be treated the same way, will live on the glass surface of your phone for as long as 9 days. But be careful what you wipe your phone down with, because many phones have an oleophobic coating. That means they're grease resistant, so that fingerprints kind of don't stick. And that's sensitive to some solvents and chemicals and some of the things you might use, even hydrogen peroxide, which is kind of the go-to disinfector for novel coronavirus. So probably not a good idea to use that Lysol wipe or the Clorox wipe on your smartphone, and yet you still do want to sanitize it. So probably sufficient just to use the screen cleaner that you use normally and a cloth. Because they're so smooth, any cleaning will probably get rid of that. Now there is, Maverick 56 in our chat room mentions this. And here's another company that's going to do very well, I predict. Phone soap. It isn't a soap for your phone, no. It's a UV light. A little chamber. It's $99 that you put your phone in. You press a button and the ultraviolet light, UVC light, zaps 99%. And your phone doesn't get wet. It doesn't have, doesn't affect the oleophobic coating. I love saying oleophobic. Phone Soap Pro comes out May 18th. Darn it. They should have put that out a little earlier. There's one big enough, I guess, for tablets and stuff. The Home Soap. It's $200. Sanitized tablets, toys, bottles, and more. I guess UV light's good for this. And then there's the Phone Soap Go, which is the only one I think you can get right now, and that one is $100. It's just a little case about the size of your iPhone. You just put your phone in there, press a button. Sold out. Yeah, of course it is. They claim it kills 99.99% of germs. Asterisk. And I guess what's cool is you can charge the phone while it's in there. So you get home, put the phone in your phone soap, and let it charge while it's sanitizing. It takes 10 minutes. And they say it does kill flu viruses. Flu, the Seasonal flu is a coronavirus, so I would presume it would also work with the novel coronavirus. Stop germs. There's a product. They're sold out, of course. They can't take advantage of it. Nobody thought they'd have a run on the phone soaps. Due to increased demand, they say on the website, the option to pre-order will be available for some products that are out of stock. Order today to keep your place in line. Wow. There's a run on the phone soap. 8888. I shouldn't be laughing. It's, you know what? When you laugh, it's like, as I said last week, whistling past the graveyard. It's just, what can you do? You just, just have to. But I guess that's why. You know who else it's going to be good for? Radio. It's going to be good. Yes, it is for your humble radio host. Because stay home. Listen to the radio. It's good stuff. And I promise I can't get you sick from here. I'm pretty sure I can't. Lady Laura, what's it like in the studio? Lady Laura actually doesn't work right next to me. She works down the road a piece. Is it empty over there? Is everybody? It's always empty, she says. No, nobody works in a studio anymore. But I think a lot of show hosts who were, you get lonely working out of the house. I actually stopped because it was, it was not just lonely, but it's hard to get your energy up when you're in your jammies. I'm just saying, it's not easy. I would be, hey, time for the tech guy. So I actually. I rented a studio and started going there, even though I didn't have to, not because I was lonely, although that has something to do with it. But just you gotta. Sometimes not going to work doesn't. It helps to go to work. She cannot be stopped by snow, by rain, by sleet, by dark of night, or COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer. Hello, Kimmy.
Hello. You made it back.
No social distancing here. There's just two walls and a soundproof door between us. I made it back. You made it back. I feel like I committed a death-defying act flying to St. Louis and back. The plane was not empty. It was not full. There are 40 seats on the flight, unoccupied. But, there were 120 occupied or something like that. So... But I have a feeling you're going to see fewer and fewer people flying.
My friend just canceled her trip to Mexico because she doesn't want to get stuck there.
And apparently, I don't know if it's related, but they're telling me now there's a big red blob over San Francisco.
A big red blob?
Well, on Down Detector, which is the...
Oh.
I know. If you don't say, what? A big red blob?
A big red blob.
What the what?
Is that the rain that we actually are getting right now?
I don't know. All of the services that come out of San Francisco are just like, boom, problematic. So I don't. Apparently ours is too. So I don't know.
So the apocalypse is officially here.
Yeah. Isn't that mean if they took advantage of the virus to say, yeah, let's just bring everything down.
Like a tech virus, too?
Yeah.
I
don't know. Disney Plus, YouTube TV, Wells Fargo, The Huffington Post.
All of that's down?
Roblox, the NBA 2K, well, all down today, or not down or slow. So, quite a few outages on downdetector.com for today. I feel like that would be Mae West that's down.
There's a new website up, canceled or not.
There is one for the NAB, for the National Association of Broadcasters. Canceled or not?
I saw it this morning.
Isn't that funny?
Just laughing.
Well, it's easy to make a website like that.
Yeah. Is it canceledyet.com?
Is it canceled yet? Well, what do you... The problem is we've all watched too many zombie apocalypse shows and movies. And so this is almost like, oh, yeah, that's what happens. Is it canceled yet? Life in the age of the coronavirus.
Last updated
at
4:59 p.m.
Adobe Summit moved online. It was going to be in Las Vegas end of the month. American Coatings Show. postponed in Indianapolis. I know. What are you going to do without the Coatings show?
The funniest one is like somebody's Lauren's 92nd birthday party. Yes, but we still love him.
Well, yeah. Clorox iConnect postponed. Well, but the truth is, if they didn't, would you go anyway? No. See, I did not feel like I was taking a risk. I wiped down the seat. We're going to talk to Johnny Jet in an hour, and I'll ask him. But I wiped down the seat with the Lysol wipes.
The
tray table very thoroughly on the latch, the tray table, the armrests, the luggage rack, the back of the seat, because it was a leather seat. It wasn't no point wiping down a fabric seat. It could make it worse because it's moist now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't wear a mask because they say, don't wear a mask. Leave them for the professionals. And then I sanitized my hands after I wiped it down, and I was just very careful after that. But, if there's somebody sitting next to you going, then you could have a problem.
Want a mask.
Yeah. Who should I talk to first here?
Oh, let's go to Johnny in Atlanta.
Johnny in Atlanta, home of the Centers for Disease Control. How about that? Hi, Johnny. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. Yeah, the president was here yesterday.
That's right.
May have known.
I did know that.
Fortunately, I work out of my house, but of course it shuts this city down. I'm already known for its.
Oh, it's always a mess, yeah. And then you add a presidential visit, and nobody's going anywhere.
Right. So fortunately, I work at home.
Good.
But anyway, I purchased some Resound links.
I use the Resounds myself, yeah. I used the Starkey Halos before that. I would wait if you want to upgrade your hearing aids. This year they go over the counter.
Okay, but I talked to my audiologist this week. I had
She wants you to buy new ones, I bet you. Hang on, I got to take a break. Scott Wilkinson coming up, home theater guru. Kim and I just gassed too long. Stand by. I'll talk to you in a minute. So, yeah, this is an interesting question because what did she say?
All right. She's just saying, okay, these are 4 years old, right? She's just saying, just be prepared that you're coming to the end of life on these hearing aids that I paid $5,000 for.
Oh, my God. And they can't put a new battery? Do you have the rechargeables?
No, they hadn't come out yet. So what I'm calling about is, just to let you know, last year, you had an episode in January where the caller actually called at the end of the show. You had already given the credits, and they called. His name is Chris. It was episode 1556. And at that time, the Resound Links Quattros had just come out.
Right.
Okay? And you were about to review them. And I never heard a review from you about those Quattros because I'm going back and reading stuff on it. It's supposed to be, better sound. But Chris that called you said that they were an audiophile. And you were saying, hearing aids just aren't made.
No hearing aid is going to give you. Now, they say that the Quattros, and I don't know what I have, to be honest with you. They say that those do the full spectrum, but nothing does a full spectrum. All of these are designed to make human voice easier to understand because that's what you need.
Okay,
right?
These are the rechargeables. Yeah, these are the rechargeables. And I didn't know if that's the ones you were going to review. Like I said, I never heard you follow up on that.
Right.
You said you
I have them. They sound just like any other hearing aid. They are not for, for instance, we went to the symphony the other night. I'm not wearing my hearing aids at the symphony because all hearing aids to date boost the mid-range, the voice range, which means you're getting an unequal mix from music. I don't think hearing aids are good for hearing music. They're good for hearing speech. And these Quattros are no different.
Like I said, I just wanted to know what your opinion was because, I can wait another year. But I know this over-the-counter stuff is about to take off.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, but what my audiologist is telling me is that's more for people that's got the mild hearing loss. And that's
what they say. That's what they say.
Kind of past that.
Right. Yeah, that's what they say. But I also may be FUD from audiologists who are terrified. So yeah. I still think, look, if you've got severe hearing loss or hearing loss of any kind, it's well worth checking an audiologist for many reasons. You still want to see an audiologist because it could be other underlying causes, and you definitely want to rule those out. But
to hear you talk about your hearing, mine sounds similar to yours.
Mine's not extreme. In fact, I don't usually wear my hearing aids, and when I listen to music, I just listen to them on headphones. And the best thing to do is to equalize it. If you can get the curve that the audiologist gives you, you can equalize it to normalize the sound, and then you're going to get all the sound. That's better than a hearing aid. I do not use hearing aids for listening to music.
I do not. And like I said, I work out of my house, so I really don't wear them when I'm here, because, even on the phone or something like that, I don't need them.
Well, that's the main reason I don't wear them, because I wear headphones so much. My job is all headphones, right?
Right.
So,
right. Anyway, you might want to, like I said, on that episode, you might want to tell whoever keeps up with your website, because I love your website, because it's great for researching and finding calls. But that call doesn't show up. I just happened to remember that time period because they were after you had given the credits. They should. Because so James doesn't write it down. If he's listening to the radio, he wouldn't know. Yeah. What date was it? Do you remember? Yeah, it was actually January 12th, 2019. Okay. I will ask I'm asking him right now. Those people who do the website, take a look at January 12th. Get the recording and see if you could, because it'll be on the podcast and you can update it. It is. And I will talk about those resounds. I've neglected to mention that, but basically you just heard the review, which is I didn't find them any better than the Starkey Halos for listening to music or anything like that. Okay, well, good. That'll save me $5,000. Yeah, I think you do not need to upgrade. Be honest with you. Wait. Hey, thanks for the call. Hello, Scott Wilkinson.
Hey, Leo. Welcome back.
He's been prepared for this. He's been working from home for the last 10 years.
That's right. 20.
20. You're ready, baby.
Yeah. I've worked from home for most of my career, and I'm really happy about it.
This is so scary, and what's even scarier is the uncertainty of the whole thing.
That's true. That's true. And in the particular field I'm in, there's a great deal of uncertainty, some ups and some downs, as you said at the beginning of the show. For example, in China, virtually all of their movie theaters are closed.
Yeah.
And in South Korea, quite a few are, in Italy as well. That hasn't happened here yet.
But I noticed that the James Bond movie that was supposed to come out this month has been postponed to November.
Till November. Now, some people I've listened to about that have said, well, it's really because of the title.
What's the title?
No Time to Die.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Of course, they titled it well before there was any of this happening, but
movie companies are very sensitive to this, especially when you spend like probably $150 million to make that movie. You cannot afford to have any issues. But at the same time, November, one of the things people are saying is this virus, because we won't have a vaccine until next year.
Probably a year, yeah.
This virus will likely resurge in the fall. November may not be a good time to go to the theater either.
No, that's true. That's true. Do you remember the movie The Interview?
This was the movie about North Korea.
About North Korea, and they kind of hacked it, and the studio, I think it was Sony, decided not to release it except in a few art houses, indie houses.
Because it was a terrible movie.
Well, that may be true, but it made far more.
Yes, it did.
On streaming.
Yes.
Than it did in the theater. And I think this is a harbinger of what's to come with the COVID virus.
Why not release a movie? This was, Lisa and I were talking about this yesterday. Why not just release the Bond movie on streaming now?
Exactly.
Maybe it is about the title in that case.
Well, in that case, yeah. But I mean, you were talking earlier about how companies like Zoom are doing really well. Yes. I'll bet that companies like Amazon and Netflix and so on, I think Netflix and Amazon were actually down a little bit in the stock market over the last few days, but over the next few weeks or months, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're up.
What are you going to do if you're quarantined for 2 weeks? You're going to watch a lot of TV.
You're going to watch a lot of TV.
So buy popcorn next time you're at the store. Buy
stock up
on popcorn
and toilet paper.
Yeah. Wow,
You've heard about this toilet paper hoarding? I mean, that's kind of
happens every time, every time. This is where I'm very happy that I invested in Japanese toilets throughout the house. I don't want to go into any more detail than that.
Right. TMI.
TMI. But toilet paper shortage will not hurt us.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, this, it's affecting so many things. As you said, South by Southwest canceled yesterday. I'm waiting.
NAB is going to be the one to watch. And I know you go to that.
NAB. I do.
And that's a big one for our industry because it's all the new broadcast gear. It's a broadcast engineering show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if it cancels too. So far, CinemaCon, which is the show that happens a week or two before NAB, which is for the National Association of Theater Owners, or NATO, interestingly enough. As far as I know, that is still on.
The thing I find interesting is I wonder if this might be the death knell for conferencing anyway. If people realize, thanks to the internet nowadays, we don't really need to come to Vegas at great expense.
Yep.
People always got sick at CES anyway.
I got sick most times I was there. Not this time.
Yeah, we were just lucky. We were really lucky because it could have been COVID-19 in Vegas.
It could have been in Vegas in January before anybody knew much about it.
Yeah.
And I have some asthma, so, I'm at higher risk.
Yeah,
so.
You and I are also over 60. And,
right.
They kept talking yesterday about the elderly. But they didn't say what elderly means. They said, if you're elderly, you should take care of yourself. And am I elderly? I don't know. I don't feel elderly. You don't feel elderly, I'm sure.
I don't at all. No, but I have heard, generally speaking, over 65.
Over 65.
That's what I've generally heard.
Okay, I should go out.
Well, I'm a little over 65.
I'm pretty healthy. But if you have an underlying condition like asthma, any respiratory illnesses, diabetes, heart disease, anything like that, lung disease, you absolutely need to be extra careful.
As far as I'm concerned now, I have made the decision not to go to CE Week and the flat panel shootout in New York.
Why would you? Why take a chance?
I mean, why take a chance? Yes,
I
want to be involved. I could be involved in that. I was last year.
I know you were a judge last year.
Well, I was the MC actually.
Oh, you were the MC, even better than a judge.
Yeah.
MC gets paid.
I did get paid.
Yeah.
But I decided, I'm not going to take that chance. The number of coronavirus cases in New York quadrupled in the last few days.
Yeah.
So
as Mike Heiss is saying in our chat room, your colleague, he says the problem with the stuff that we use, you can't check it out on a stream. You can't look at a TV on the stream or test a camera on the stream.
Good point, Mike.
So you got it. There are things where you need to go try them. On the other hand, if Sony doesn't show up,
you're not going to see him
You're not going to see it anyway. And I have a feeling that's what's really going to start happening. He's talking about something called Con Expo, which is a construction industry event. Volvo's not going to show up. That means a lot of people who would go to that won't be able to see the things that they're interested in seeing. I really wonder. I really wonder.
LG, LG was going to have what they call a reviewers workshop, which they do every year.
Yeah.
And it was going to be here in LA this year, where they bring in reviewers from around the country.
So now's the time, kids. Order your TVs, your streamers, subscribe to Disney Plus. Actually, hold off a little bit until you're going to be staying home, and then sign up for those free trials. They'll probably last the 2 weeks. You'll be golden.
Yeah, right.
You'll be golden. Lots to watch.
That reviewers workshop they canceled. It's not happening. It's going to be next week.
Yeah. The question is what's essential and non-essential travel. And the day that we were in St. Louis, the CDC said, if you're over 60, don't fly. And it's like, too late. Either that or I'm driving home.
Yeah, right.
No.
Take the bus.
I think I'm okay. I think I survived. And, what this does do, the benefit of this in one way is that we're all learning a better hygiene.
Yes, exactly. Well, that may be one reason why I didn't get sick at CES was I washed my hands all the time.
Me too, obsessively. And in fact, I'll put it in the show notes. The National Institutes of Health has a one sheet on how to wash your hands the way a doctor does.
Yeah.
And it's not merely time.
20 seconds.
Yeah, it's not even sing happy birthday twice, but it's it's all because it's friction plus soap that cleans you up. So it's all these little movements you do to get all the little fiddly bits.
Right. And boy, talk about conferencing and handshaking.
Yeah.
Oh,
I noticed the president still giving his firm grip. But it's hard not to. I was in St. Louis.
Yeah.
We're so conditioned. And for a few people come in with a handshake, and I'd step back and say, "Can we fist bump, or better yet, can we elbow bump?" That's what we ended up doing.
Yeah.
And it's not satisfying.
No, it's not. No, a handshake really feels good, but at this point in time, I would probably avoid it.
Home theater geek Scott Wilkinson. He is at techhive.com, and for the time being, he's staying home. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this.
Shortwave. How about a hip bump instead?
Apparently in Japan, they're foot touching.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but it's not satisfying.
Not satisfying.
But it's
not
just
nearly.
I think it's just it's so weird. We're so conditioned.
Yeah. We're also so unconsciously we touch our face, scratch our nose.
That's the hardest thing.
I know, and you're not even aware of it.
Somebody suggested if you're going to touch, have a box of Kleenex or a hanky nearby, and if you have to itch or rub your eyes or whatever,
cover your
pick up the hanky and do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of scary times, actually.
I'll give it to you for 3.5. Can you stay for the top?
Yep, sure can.
Enjoy.
Thanks. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad to be seeing you on the stream. And I hope the stream's working better. I was having real trouble, and everybody else was too. I switched to tune-in audio only, and that seemed to work fine. I didn't have a problem with that. There wasn't any dropouts or glitches, but there sure were on all the video streams. So that's it. I hope it's fixed. So do we have a deal? Let's elbow on it. Side chops. Chops? How do you pronounce your screen name? That's a good one. Stream is still a little wonky, Mike B says. Audio is still okay. Okay, well, there you go. Mike Heiss, glad to see you in the chat room. That's true. You can't check out a new camera. Volvo not going to ConExpo. We talked about this. Yeah. Really? ConExpo is larger than CES? Wow. I didn't realize that. I thought, well, I guess CES is probably the largest consumer electronics show in the world. Key 43 says, kind of working. Twit.am listen works well. Okay, good. Well, yeah. So anybody got any other questions besides COVID-19? I was listening to the conversation with Leo was having about hearing aids, and I agree with him completely. Hearing aids are not hi-fi. But I disagree that over the counter hearing aids are going to be a good thing. Well, I agree with Leo that he said always go to your audiologist anyway. And I agree, not only to determine if you might not have something more serious than just hearing loss, but what is the pattern of your hearing loss? You know, what is the profile? What frequencies do you have the most deficit in? And then you have to then ideally you program your hearing aids with that curve. And as Leo said, you could do that with just regular headphones. In fact, there's a headphone I reviewed a while ago from Audis, I think was the name of the company, that actually did a test where they played you tones in different frequencies, and you adjusted a slider in an app where till you could barely hear it, and it gave you your profile, and then it EQ'd the music you were listening to according to that profile for each ear. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. I wish more companies did it. Leo told me that the Samsung app also has that function.
Which function?
Where you do a little hearing test.
Oh, I love that. On all the Samsung phones have a hearing test.
I
love that.
You get your curve. You get your hearing
so
profile.
Awesome. It makes a huge difference. And I'll show you these at the top of the hour, but I just got my new in-ears from Jerry Harvey, the Leilas.
Oh, I don't know about those.
Oh, they're molded. They're
they're molded? Really?
They're incredible. Yeah.
Well, I want to hear about those.
Okay, hold on. We got to go.
Okay.
But stay around.
I'll be here at the...
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 ask Leo. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to line 2. Gordon in Columbus, Indiana. Hi, Gordon.
Hi, Leo. This is great to talk to you.
Thanks for holding on.
Yeah, that's fine. I followed you sometimes when you're on the TV.
Oh, back in the old days.
Yeah, I'm about your age, so.
You know, it's funny because I meet people all the time. I was at an event, as I said, in St. Louis on Thursday, and there were we had a little meetup, and a number of people came up to me and said, I watched you when I was a kid. I was like, oh, boy. 14 years old, I grew up on your show. I feel like Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I watched you when I had my 5 kids. So that's...
There you go. Yeah, there you go. But it's, you know what? There's a certain something that have impacted people, especially young in their and early in their lives. And a lot of these guys ended up working in tech. So I actually am very grateful to have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. What can I do for you today?
Well, okay. The question I have is I've got 5 TVs in the house, and before I went to streaming, I probably had 5 of them on at different stations and sometimes the news stations.
Right.
And it was killing me about $250 a month for the TV version. So I cut that and I went to Wi-Fi with Verizon.
Right.
And as soon as I did that, it dropped, and the whole thing just dropped. And so I went in there and looked at it.
What do you mean dropped? Your internet stopped working, or
just the TV portion?
Oh,
the computer was fine.
Who are you getting your TV from?
Verizon.
So you were getting their, was it fiber?
Yes.
Yes. So you were getting their fiber product that offered TV and data and probably voice too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had all 3. And then, and you're saying that your TV, what happened? It just didn't look good, or it stopped working?
You turn it on, it says SmartCast is off. So I go into the menu and look at what the strength of the signal is, and oftentimes it's very, very low, and I'm getting maybe 2 or 3 megabytes that comes in. So
these are all Vizio. Are they all Vizio TVs, or just that one, or? All
Vizio except...
So most TVs have terrible Wi-Fi radios in them. And so... Well, of course, SmartCast has to be on, but then when you turn it on, you're still not getting good bandwidth. It's because of the positioning of the TV relative to the Verizon router. It's because of the Verizon router using their router that came with the service.
Right.
Yeah. So ideally, when I always look for a way to have wired connections to television stuff. You're not going to get the dropout. You're not going to get the congestion. Wi-Fi is really not a very good choice for television, especially if you have a lot of TVs all on at once. So there are a couple of ways to handle this. You have enough bandwidth. The bandwidth's not the issue if you have UVerse, or not UVerse. They're a fiber solution, because you got tons of bandwidth. Probably got a gigabit. Yeah. So what you need to do is get it wired. Now you can mess with it initially. When they came in, they put in their own Wi-Fi router, I presume.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
So where they put it may not have been ideal. They just put it in and said, "Hey, have fun. Good luck. Bye-bye." So you want to improve your Wi-Fi signal. There is a. Go ahead.
I did purchase one of those boosters that you.
Yeah, those don't do anything.
They don't. Yeah, I put it all over the house, and it didn't do squat.
Yeah. So the one solution is to use the better mesh solutions. There are good mesh solutions out there that are designed for this. But I'm going to refer you to, and everybody, because it's a great article that came out this week on Ars Technica by Jim Salter, who's their really good networking guy, on Wi-Fi and why it's so bad and what you can do to make it better. They call it their semi-scientific guide to Wi-Fi placement. And I will put a link in the show notes. It's well worth reading. I can summarize for you, but basically walls are bad. People are bad. We're just big bags of water. That's not good. There's lots of things getting in the way of your Wi-Fi. And I bet you all of those TVs, they're all in different rooms. He says, whenever possible, avoid having more than 1 or 2 at most walls between you and the router. I bet you have many situations your TVs are distant from the router. So you have a combination of kind of not great radios in the Vizios, plus a Wi-Fi, and maybe the router you had before Verizon came along was better, stronger, or better placed. One of the things he says is, whenever possible, put routers high. And partly that's to avoid the humans. You also may, though, want to look at a mesh solution, which will give you one way to think of it is Wi-Fi is like a lamp, a pool of light. And you wouldn't expect to read a book 3 rooms away from the lamp. So these mesh solutions are a way of putting lamps in other rooms. Some of them have internet connections, Ethernet hardwired connections you can then put into your TV. I do that with I have a system from Netgear called the Orbi. That's a mesh system. Their satellites have Ethernet connections. And one of the things that makes this Orbi good for this is the back haul, the connection between the Orbi units is super fast, super high quality. So that's another thing. You should make sure you're not using, for the TVs anyway, the 5 gigahertz, but the 2.4 gigahertz. That travels through walls better. That travels better. There's a lot of this is as any radio engineer will tell you, a black art. RF is mysterious. It's voodoo. But I'm going to put the link in the show notes to this really good article on Ars Technica. If you just Google semi-scientific guide to Wi-Fi, you'll find Jim Salter's article with lots of ideas. I think Eero, which is one of our sponsors, but I think that's the mesh I use at home along with the Netgear Orbi. Both of those are good for different reasons. The Eero lets you have multiple beacons around the house, better than an extender. The problem with an extender, it slows your speed down by half. Mesh does not, because Mesh has a separate backhaul. So you're using the Verizon router, which may also not be a great router. So replacing that with the Eero might also, if they let you. I'm not sure. You know, with a lot of times with these, Uverse does this when they have TV plus data plus telephone. They want you to use a specialized router. So you can look on Verizon's pages about how to use your own router, and it may involve some tweaking. But a better router, better placement, using something called a mesh system, and there are a number of them, but my favorite is Eero, will allow you to distribute this a little bit more equitably. And the reason I like the Orbi is they have Ethernet ports on it, and they have a very fast backhaul. So that's what I do for my TV system. I have, whenever possible, my TVs are connected directly to the router. But when not, I have a router, the Orbi router, that has a satellite that I can then connect the TV into. And that seems to work even when the Wi-Fi is iffy. Wi-Fi is iffy.
What's going to happen in the future then? I mean, you got Apple Plus coming on, you've got Disney Plus.
I know, we're streaming a lot of content.
Is
well, the ideal would be wired, and newer buildings are going to have Ethernet jacks everywhere. That would be a good solution. This is the problem: is we're overburdening Wi-Fi. We have many more devices with the Internet of Things, lots more congestion. Your neighbors have it, everybody has it. And so it's a congested environment. That's the real problem. Zaphod greeting. We're going to do the Zaphod greeting going forward. I don't know what that is. It's probably from Hitchhiker's Guide. I'll have to look at the video. All right, Scotty.
I don't know what Zaphod greeting is.
Zaphod Bibelbrox. I'm gonna play the video here. In fact,
okay.
Let me get that.
That's fine.
While you talk.
Okay, I'll talk.
Yeah.
I got a question up here earlier, Web 8149. I'm in the market for an 80-inch TV looking at the Q80 and Q90 Samsung QLED TVs. Which is better for dark scenes? I'd say they're both good. The 90 will be better just because it's a higher end, so it probably has more zones. I don't think Samsung reveals the number of zones in its TVs. Neither does Sony. Vizio does. And I really appreciate it when manufacturers reveal the number of zones. The more, the better. And so I'm sure that the 90 has more zones than the 80, but it's also more expensive. So if you can afford the 90, I would recommend the 90, a Q90. If you can't, then the Q80. They'll be not dissimilar in performance. The 90 with more zones would have less blooming, less haloing. They'll both have roughly the same black levels, more or less. So that is my recommendation there. Let's see. Anybody else got any questions? This whole Wi-Fi question is a good one. I just recently helped a friend of mine install a new TV. And in fact, he got an LG OLED at my recommendation. I was happy about that. And new receiver. And he had his router was a couple of rooms away. And he was having real trouble with his Wi-Fi. And there was something that and now I can't remember. I'm sorry I brought it up because I can't remember what it was that he did that fixed it. But he also had a Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick, and it wasn't working, and then it did. And I'll have to tell you next week what it was because I'll have to ask him what it was that he did to fix it because now I can't remember. Dang. But I agree totally that Wi-Fi is a black art. And I, too, for streaming, have a wired connection. I mean, my router is here in my office, which is the next room over from my theater, but I still have an Ethernet run all the way there. Actually, I didn't drill through the wall. I actually routed it all the way along the baseboard down the hall to the next room because Ethernet cables can be really long and it doesn't matter. And but I didn't want to trust Wi-Fi on that, so I don't. And I agree with Leo 100%. Web 9644. Let's see. My Q7 has to be on Wi-Fi or not Wi-Fi, not hardwired. If I want Alexa to be able to turn it on and off. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. See, I don't use Alexa. I don't use voice things at all. It will not work if hardwired, and this is noted on the Samsung site. Oh, okay, all right. Well, if you're going to use Alexa or one of those kind of things, then yeah, you do need to be on. I guess you need to be on Wi-Fi. I thought you needed to be on the network. I didn't know that it had to be Wi-Fi and it couldn't be wired. I mean, wired or Wi-Fi, you're still on the network, right? I don't know why that wouldn't work. T1000, can you see a big difference between a 65-inch 4K and 8K? No. We talked about this last week. There was a big study done at Warner Brothers that I wrote about on Tech Hive, and even people with 2010 vision sitting 5 feet from an 88-inch display could barely see that 8K was better. You know, they called it slightly better, and only in a couple of clips. It depended on the clip as much as on their visual acuity and their seating distance. But you've got to be really close to the TV and have really good vision to even see a slight difference between them. So the basic answer is no. And at 65 inches, especially at a normal seating distance, you're not going to see any difference at all. Mike B, why not use MoCA? Multimedia over coax. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. It used to be a thing. I haven't heard of it in a long time until just now. You know, any wired connection is going to be better than a wireless connection, and MoCA is over coax, not Ethernet, but coax. So you know that's potentially better too, but I don't even know if it's a thing anymore. Mike B, you just switched to it this week. It's awesome. Switched to what? What is it that you're referring to? I would love to know what's awesome. Let's see. Swamp Rat, Warner Brothers got a little money from me last week. I bought the Blu-ray of Dr. Sleep. I didn't see that one. I don't really go in for horror movies, and I think that was a horror movie. Oh, KD2 TFP Verizon Fios uses MoCA. Oh, Mike B switched to Mocha, and it's awesome. Okay. Media over coax. Then it still is a thing, and it works. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. I'll have to look into that and sort of refamiliarize myself with it. Okay, Mike B got a Motorola MMK 1000 Mocha adapter and a switch. Okay, very good. And he also has FiOS, which makes it easy. Swamp Rat says, yes, it was the sequel to The Shining. Okay, never mind. I won't be watching that. If you love horror movies, great. More power to you. Go scare yourself to death. I mean, not to death literally, but, some people love that. They just love that, and I don't judge. But don't judge me for hating it. Because I really do not want my brain filled with that kind of imagery, or my veins filled with that much adrenaline. I really don't. Mike B. Oh, the MM1000. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Typo. One Brian says all 3 TiVos I have are on Mocha. Okay. Cool, man. Web 9644 says, what is your preference, front height speakers or rear height? Considering moving from 5.2 to 7.2. And you're considering putting height speakers up instead of rear surrounds, I guess. 7.2 normally means that you're putting rear surrounds at ear level. But if you're putting height speakers in, I would put in Dolby Atmos overhead speakers, not just height speakers. This nomenclature's a little weird. Height speakers to me normally means that they're elevated above the ear level plane, but not directly overhead. Whereas Dolby Atmos, so I call that height, and I call Atmos type speakers that are actually overhead, I call those overheads in order to make a distinction. And I would much rather have overheads than heights. So if you're going to do that, I would make it a 5.2.2 and put the 2 speakers overhead for Dolby Atmos effect.
Scotty, have a safe homestay.
Thank you. And you too.
Thank you. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye.
Wow. Hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here. I am the tech guy. The guy you come to when your computer won't work, when you don't understand what they mean when they say skibbly-gop-bop-bop-biddy-dope-bop-biddy-dope. When you I don't understand either. When the bit pump is lagging, you call 8888 Ask Leo. That's my phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still call. And if you're in Italy, you could still call because I'm here for you, baby. Our website is techguylabs.com. And I mention that not because I want to make money on it. There's no sign up. There's no fee. But it is a great thing to know about because you don't have to write anything down as you're driving around listening to the show, or I hope not driving around, staying home listening to the show. Keep your hands in the air, sterile and sanitized, and just go to the website, techguylabs.com. If you hear something and you say, what did he just, tell me more about that. techguylabs.com. Every show is there. That's the beauty of it. And there's no fee, as I said, no sign up. In fact, we even encourage you to leave comments if you have if you say, well, Leo, I have an idea. For instance, our last caller was talking about how their internet connection had degraded when they upgraded to Verizon Fiber. And of course, that's not Verizon Fiber's faster, but I think what happened is that the router that Verizon put in there wasn't as good or wasn't as well placed. And so the TVs were having a hard time getting a signal. So we were talking about ways to improve it. Mesh router's one, and I did not mention something called Mocha, which your TiVos use. Your TiVos, it's internet over your cable coax. It can be a little finicky, and you do need some hardware to turn your internet into a signal you could put over the coax. Stands for Multimedia Over Coax Alliance. Okay, that gives you some idea of how old this is. When's the last time you heard the phrase multimedia? Right? I mean, everything was multimedia, 10, 15 years ago. Nobody mentions it at all now because everything's multimedia. But if you don't want to run Ethernet wire from one room to another, there are a couple of other choices. Mocha is one, maybe a little easier to set up, and probably, in fact, a little faster, is Powerline Networking. And this was something that came out years ago that was terrible. The idea is, well, you already have wires in your house, your electrical power grid. What if we, and you still have electricity on there, but what if we put filters on it and other stuff and sent data down it? And you can, it turns out. And the most recent Powerline networking devices actually do a fairly good job. So I should have mentioned this. But if you can't get the Wi-Fi working, of course, Wi-Fi is the most convenient, and you don't have Ethernet in the wall, you do have other lines in the wall that you can use, your coax with Mocha and your power lines with Powerline Internet. And the company I usually recommend, the company I use for Powerline networking is TP-Link, Chinese company that makes, I think, very inexpensive but pretty good Powerline networking devices. So they have a whole, if you go to tplink.com, tp-link.com, and go to the Powerline section, you'll see a variety of devices. They plug into the wall, the plug socket, right? That's how they connect to that. But then they'll also need a connection to your internet. So they'll have a Ethernet cable that comes off your router and then goes to one plugged into the wall. And then you'd have one next to every TV with an Ethernet cable coming out of it and going into the TV. That might be the best way to do it. The only hitch on Powerline networking is it doesn't go across fuse boxes, junction boxes, that kind of thing. Most homes, that's not an issue. Unless your home is huge and you have it divided up into different areas or something. In most cases, all the wires talk to one another without anything in between. So it's a good, there's even gigabit power line. It works pretty darn well. Now, Mike B., who is a TiVo fanatic, says Mocha is easier, reliable, and faster. Not been my experience. Not been my experience. But and maybe he tried the old Powerline networking. Either one. You should look at either one. Mocha's easy if you already have a TiVo, because TiVos have that built in most cases. But otherwise, you have to go out and get Mocha hardware. It's a little more complicated. And it really does also depend on the quality of your cable. And the problem with it is that many cable installations in many homes have splitters, and they're kind of funky. They're not ideal. So your in-home wiring can really impact that. Wi-Fi is going to be the best if you can. But Mocha or Powerline networking are alternatives. And you see, that's the kind of thing you'd find on the website. Let's go on to Gary in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hi, Gary. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, over the years, whenever anyone's asked you about, say, Norton 360 versus Windows Defender, you've always seemed to indicate that you think Windows Defender is just fine and that we perhaps don't even need something like Norton 360. But when I hear you explain that, it seems as though I only hear it as it applies to anti-spam and that sort of thing.
No, it's antivirus. In fact,
antivirus.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Norton 360 does other things. So you're right. I'm only talking about virus protection.
Okay. And are there other things, and I know there are some negatives to any type of other third-party thing. It can slow the computer down a little bit.
Oh, Norton's notoriously piggy, especially the 360. Okay. They threw everything into the suitcase there. So what are you trying to do? If the number one concern people have, of course, is malware. And the anti-malware tools that come with Windows 10 now are fine, more than adequate for anybody's needs. So okay. I don't recommend third-party antiviruses. Anti-spam is best done not on your computer but server side. And all internet mail providers have some sort of server-side anti-spam. Google's Gmail is probably the best in the business, but almost everybody offers some form of anti-spam filtering. And it's better to do it in the server than it is to, because you don't want to download it and then get rid of it.
Sure. Well, when I said anti-spam, I misspoke. I meant
antivirus. Yeah.
I was going to ask if there's anything that Norton 360, regardless of the negatives, that it does that Windows Defender and does not do. I also use Malware Bytes, and they seem to catch things if I accidentally click on the wrong page and this and that. But if I'm willing to live with a slowed-down computer, which really doesn't bother me at all, is there anything I am giving up? Is there anything good?
Well, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's LifeLock. They're now part of. They're now all together, and LifeLock is identity theft protection, and that is a good thing. A lot of what you can do much of the same thing yourself, but LifeLock kind of is turnkey, which makes it a lot easier. And they do offer something that you don't do yourself, which is insurance. If you get identity theft, they'll help you remediate it. So that's one thing that they offer that might well be useful.
I'm not interested in those services.
Yeah, you could do that yourself. Just put computer. If you call the credit services and put a lock on the credit service, that's as good as anything. They have anti-spyware, antivirus, malware, and ransomware protection. That's all the same. That's antivirus. They have online threat protection. That's antivirus. They do offer cloud backup, not a huge amount, 50 gigs on the deluxe plan. But, if you don't have another solution for cloud backup, maybe that's okay. You don't need their, quote, smart firewall. In fact, I think that's one of the things I really hate about them. It causes all sorts of connection issues. Your router, you already have a very good firewall, a router. Password manager, not best in class, but you should have a password manager of some kind. Parental controls, again, not best in class, but if you've got kids, not a bad thing. I don't like their VPN at all. I don't recommend it. Dark web monitoring, okay. Honestly, I'm not a fan of all-in-one solutions for anything, whether it's software or your TV. I'm actually much more of a fan of best-of-class solutions and putting something on there that you intentionally put on there, know what it's doing, and you know why you have it. So it seems probably tempting to say, well, I just get this bundle of stuff, and I'll be good. And I feel like that's you're getting a lot of extra stuff you don't need or don't want, and you're getting a lot of side effects you really don't want, like slowdowns, weird behavior, blocked internet. And it's, it costs you something. Norton 360 Deluxe is $40 a year. That's not too bad, but it's not going to be the best in class in anything, including, by the way, the antivirus. So it's hard for me to recommend that. Now, LifeLock, that's another matter. That's a separate thing. I don't think they sell it. I don't know if they sell it separately anymore, unfortunately. They got acquired by Symantec. I'm just not a fan of the all-in-one solution, but maybe that's me. I really understand. I think a lot of people, a lot of us are, just looking at the security situation and going, well, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And it's very tempting to say, well, I'll just get one thing that does it all. It's good enough for me. But I think in this case, it isn't good enough for you. So John Jammer B bought tickets for us to a concert a week from Sunday, the Ides of March, to his favorite band, Humphreys McGee. They're an amazing jam band. Really sound great. I mean, it's just incredible. And Humphreys McGee does this amazing thing where you buy some special tickets, they give you a little wireless sound pack. You plug your headphones in, and then you're listening to the board direct.
40 of these.
So it's only 40 tickets to each concert?
40 receivers to lease.
So you got these, and they're using the Sennheisers just like our mic?
Exactly what they use.
So John and I said, well, John, he said, you can just use your in-ear monitors that you use at work. And these are pretty darn good. These are from Jerry Harvey Audio, and they're molded to my ear.
And look how clean they are.
And they're clean. Thank you, Burke. Burke sterilized them. Wow, that's nice. But I've been looking to buy. So Jerry Harvey makes great these. These are the ones that rock stars use and stuff because they're molded, right? You have to go to an audiologist to get a mold. So no one. And the other reason I like this, no one can wear these.
All Humphreys and all the crew have molded.
All the Humphrey peoples use these. Okay, I don't know if they use Jerry Harvey's. It used to be Ultimate Ears, and then he left. He was Ultimate Ears. So I said, all right, I'm going to treat myself for this very special show. And I bought the Leilas, which is their top of the line. Look, they even give you a carbon fiber case with your name on it. So nobody.
Is that printed on?
Yeah. On these, the old ones, it says Chief Twit.
Cool.
Yeah, and these are. That's how the other ones go.
That's a nice stash box.
Yeah, it would be. You could put a little grinder in there. Yeah, I think it is. So I just got these yesterday. It comes even with a little screwdriver because you can change the bass response. But I haven't touched them because it's pretty dang good. And it's got these really big, instead of the little thin two wires, it's got a 4-wire connection because there's 12 drivers. That's crazy. And then they also shipped it with these little adhesive things you can put on to give a better seal. So these seal 100%.
The crossover's in here?
I guess so.
Or the crossover is not...
Something's in here.
Well, the crossovers are probably...
They're probably... Yeah. There's 12 drivers per channel. No, 4 drivers per channel in here. It's a 12-driver unit. And you can actually... I got this clear so you could see it. So, I don't know, though, if we're going to... I don't know what this is going to happen at this concert. I better find another one I can wear these to. They'll put it off, right. I'm set, man. These are nice headphones. I listened to them this morning. I listened to Beautiful Symphony. It sounded so good. The one we went to see in the concert. By the way, Davies is closed, I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you said that out. Yeah.
Yesterday, last night, that's what got me kind of...
No more concerts. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo. I was talking to the chat room over the break about a concert that our studio engineer is a big fan of a jam band called Humphreys McGee, and they're coming to town in a small venue, and they do a thing. 40 people can buy tickets where they get a wireless receiver and they plug their headphones into it, and you're at the concert, you're feeling it, but you're also hearing sound directly out of the soundboard. And John, who's an audiophile, says it's an amazing experience. So I got all excited. I bought some fancy new headphones, and now we're all saying, oh boy, should we go? Is it safe? I don't know. I feel like I am born to be wild by going to St. Louis last week. I don't know if I'm ready for a concert. 8888, ask Leo, the phone number. Line 1, David in Los Angeles. Hello, David.
Hello, Leo. I've been waiting to talk to you. I stay on the queue because actually your screener answered my question before I got to you.
Oh, that's okay. That's pretend you don't know.
Exactly. I just want to say your radio show is an amazing, powerful, high-tech education institution. And you know that.
Thank you, David. I love doing what I'm doing. And I love tech. So I spent a lot of time just, messing with tech. We got home from St. Louis, and I had some new gear to play with, and I just, I stayed up late. My wife's asleep. I'm lying in bed playing with my laptop. I just love this stuff. So I'm lucky to be able to do a job where I enjoy it.
Yeah, just stay away from the coronavirus.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
But I'm sure you're not going to get it because you're on the radio.
Right.
Anyway,
I don't talk to anybody. We did used to allow studio audiences, and almost every weekend we'd have people from all over the world in here, and we actually had to
No.
Yeah, no. That's right.
Yeah, we got to play safe now.
Yeah.
And so this the problem was with my Gmail that I ran out of storage, and I didn't know how to do it because it was the first time I faced that. And
she told you can buy more.
Yeah, well, that's the second question. Is it worth it to buy more, or just in the past I heard you saying you can get your own domain and you don't have to with Google?
Yeah, but if you get your own domain, somebody's got to do the email for you, and it might as well be Google. So Google gives you I can't remember what it is, but a fairly large, I think it's 100 gigabytes of data, or maybe it's only 10. And when they first started many moons ago, the whole idea was never delete email. We'll give you so much space, you'll never have to delete it. And then you can use Google's fabulous search tools to find it. And I have to say, there's a lot to be said for that, because in your emails, I mean, there's a lot of junk mail. But and I would throw that out. So, but most people have it set so that their spam folder, the place that Google moves that junk mail, empties out every 30 days, thereabouts. You keep it for a little while just to make sure it really is spam, and then just throw it out. That'll keep you from getting too full. But if you...
I was using the 15 gig.
15, okay, yeah, that's how much it is, yeah. So the other reason it might be worth getting is because you buy it as G Drive. Actually, I think they have a new name for it, Google Drive. I think it's, what is it, OneDrive? I don't know what they call it, but it's not OneDrive, but there's a name for it. But Google One, I think, is what it's called. And so you you buy it in, it's not too expensive. And then you can kind of, the reason you like keeping all that mail is, oh gosh, what was that person's name that I met at the conference 4 years ago? And you can search for it. And I find myself doing that all the time. When I was trying to buy these headphones, I said, well, I remember buying them from, I think it was JH Audio, whatever. It was 2015. It was 5 years ago. So I searched through the email and I found it. And I couldn't remember my account, but all of that was in the email. So things like that, it's really, it turns out it's better than a contact list. It's everything.
Yeah, I'm a filmmaker, and I get a lot of emails from different companies all the time, and to cameras and lighting equipment, you name it. And it's always, they always keep storing, in my email account.
Yeah. So and then I guess they decided that, well, because they advertised at first, you'll never have to, we'll give you so much storage. And at the time, 15 gigabytes was a lot of storage, not anymore. Not anymore. So go to one.google.com.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. The second question is there any competitor rivaling Gmail?
Oh, yes. In fact, I stopped using Gmail for privacy reasons, and I use a company called Fastmail. But there you're going to have to pay them for storage too. In fact, they're not a free service like Google is, so you pay them from day one. But I find them to be very, very good. They have anti-spam filtering, and I don't delete mail much there either. But you do end up paying for storage. I'm just looking on my my Google One, and I have half a terabyte used, but I bought 2. So I pay, I can't remember, $100 a year, I think, for 2 terabytes of storage. So given that I never delete email, that's a ton of email on there. And I'm 41 gigabytes on Google Mail. Most of it, by the way, is Google Drive storage, because we use it for work. I have 382 gigabytes on Google Drive, and I have 70 gigabytes of Google Photos. That's another great feature. So I don't mind buying storage from Google, because between Gmail and Google Photos, I think that's a good deal. But if you are looking for a better email provider, there are lots of them out there. If you want private email, encrypted email, there's Proton Mail. Mail.org is also very good. There's Fastmail, the service I use. There certainly are competitors, but none of them are free. And the other possibility is storing it on your computer, but I think increasingly we're looking at that is not the ideal, because you got to back it up, data loss, and all that stuff. I just got the new Dell XPS 13, and I got the developer edition, and it was 256 gig storage. I thought, oh, how can I live with that? But then I thought about it, and I don't need to store everything on that computer. I could store it in the cloud. Johnny Jett, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Are you feverish? Do you have a chill?
Thank goodness, no.
Thank God.
How about you?
Well, I flew yesterday on Southwest to St. Louis.
And how was that? Was it full?
No, but it wasn't empty either. I was surprised. There were about 40 empty seats both ways.
That's a lot for Southwest.
Yeah, they're almost always full, but it meant we all had a middle seat, most of us.
That's nice.
In between us, I mean. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're hurting. Is that what you want to talk about?
I mean, it's up to you. I have all kinds of stuff to talk
Whatever.
about.
I don't want to interpose.
I think that's what everyone wants to talk about. And I made a resource page, which I tweeted out, tagged you in it.
Perfect. And I also think we should, what we should do is, hey, John, I just printed out the log, if you can get that for me, is talk about Johnny Jet's sanitation tips for air travel.
All right.
Because you're the king. And you remember I poo-pooed it and you got sick. Now I felt terrible, and now I'm doing what you do. So let me go to johnnyjet.com for Johnny's Guide. Well, yeah, and I mean we're now Lisa's saying we're going in June to Germany. We're going on that riverboat cruise end of June. That's 3 months off. And I haven't paid for it yet.
I don't pay for it yet because that's going to go on sale.
Well, no, I already signed up, so I'll get the price. But here's my question. I always get travel insurance. This time I didn't.
Well, the problem is this is not covered by travel insurance.
Right. Like if I say, so that's another question.
Although if you bought the travel insurance when you bought the cruise,
I didn't.
It would have been covered.
I haven't paid for it yet.
It wasn't especially if you bought it back in like December.
But now you can't get COVID covered?
No. I mean, you'll get hospital stays if you get the disease.
What I'm worried about, what Lisa's worried about, is one of us gets sick before the trip and can't go, or isn't sick but gets quarantined. Right. Well, we'll talk about that too. Who do you recommend? Is it too late?
You got to shop around, but I think it's too late. But I obviously recommend Allianz Travel Insurance since I am one of their brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
But one that's not a sponsor, Insure My Trip. They do a good job they're like, we can talk about this on the radio, but they're the kayak of travel.
That's what I need.
So I was once told by someone that I could not get travel insurance for my dad because when I took him to Italy, he was like 88. And I went through Insure My Trip, and sure enough, I found a company that would do it. They have like at least 27 companies that, let me see how many companies they have.
And isn't there a no fault, like you can
cancel any time insurance?
Yeah.
But it costs a lot more and you get about 75% back of what your total
that might
cost.
Be worth it. All right.
But you usually have to buy that right after your trip.
So I'm going to multiple destinations. Yes.
Right after you purchase the trip, usually you have to buy it.
Johnny Jet is grounded, but he's with us via
I felt like
Skype.
I traveled this week because I did go to the airport to check out the new American Express Centurion Lounge that LAX desperately needed, and it's now in the Tom Bradley International Terminal, and it's their largest Centurion Lounge out of them all. There's a dozen of them around the country.
Nice. I love lounges. Because I'm always going to the airport early because I don't want to be late.
Well, if you have an Amex card, if you have any Amex card, you can get in, but you have to pay. If it's a green card, you have to pay $50, I think. But if you have a platinum or above, you get in free, including a couple of guests. And they always have really good food.
Wow.
And things like that.
Okay. So, Johnny, would you travel these days? Was the airport empty when you were there?
I was shocked how quiet it was, but there were still. I was even more shocked to see a lot of families traveling with little babies, which I just think, I don't know, that's a little bit of a risk. But when I travel,
no, kids don't get this. Kids don't get it.
Exactly. Well, they get it, but they don't get it as bad. So that's actually making me think more that we will do our trip. We're supposed to go to Hawaii in a couple weeks or a few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go to Richard Branson's new boat in Miami in a couple weeks.
Would you get on a cruise ship right now?
I will get on that cruise because it's not sailing. It's just overnight.
But because the real risk of the cruise is not getting sick. The real risk is getting stuck.
Being quarantined, yeah. I would not personally. As much as I'm sure the cruise industry will hate me for this, and I'm speaking at Sea Trade, which is the biggest cruise industry in a couple months. But personally, I would not. I just think it's too much of a risk right now because you do not want to get quarantined, and you do not want to get quarantined on a cruise ship because the chances of getting it then are even more. It's a shame what's going on in San Francisco right now.
What's going on in San Francisco?
Well, the Grand Princess.
The Grand Princess is stuck offshore. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and conferences are being canceled. I mean, we flew to St. Louis on Southwest Wednesday, came back on Friday. Plane was not full. There were about 40 empty seats in both directions. And I guess for Southwest, that's a lot.
A lot of people wearing masks?
No. I think the message has gone out that you shouldn't be wearing masks unless you're sick. There were maybe a half dozen on each flight wearing masks.
One of my friends said that they flew yesterday from LA to New York, and there was a woman on the plane, not only in a mask, but she had rubber gloves and goggles on.
Well, isn't that the Naomi Campbell way?
No, I don't think she had goggles and gloves on.
So what do you do? What do you recommend if you do have to fly? I took Lysol wipes and wiped every surface, hard surface, fabric, no point, but every hard surface that people touch, including the overhead bins, the tray table I really hosed down, and I let it dry. Window shade. Yep. Armrest. Seatbelt.
I open up the tray table, do the top of the tray table because I'm using my mouse.
And Southwest has leather seats, so I did do the where my head
Yep, that's
rests.
good. The leather seats are better now because
you can wipe them down. Was that okay? And then after I did that, I sanitized my hands. I washed 3 or 4 times during the trip just to make sure in the bathroom I used the soap and water and washed for, 2 happy birthdays.
And how many people did it around you? Did you see anyone doing it around you?
Nah. I didn't see anybody.
Because I'm hearing a lot of people are doing it these days. I mean, I've always been doing it. I've been doing it for a long time just because I'm a semi-germaphobe.
I know. In fact, I remember once I told you, oh, you're silly. You didn't, and you got sick.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's better to be on guard. And these days, you can't be too careful. I actually created a resource page for travelers, a coronavirus resource page for travelers.
Thank you.
If you Google it, I put it in the show notes or the chat room, and I tweeted it out. So it has all different news. So it has all the cancellation policies for airlines, hotels, cruise lines. It has the latest news. It has a high school kid in Washington made a page that's getting a lot of attention right now that shows the actual breakdown of the quick facts of all the countries, how many have it, how many have died. That website is ncov2019.live. It's linked on this page. So is the Johns Hopkins University page that's similar to this. And but it's just good information because, as a traveler, you need to there's so much out there, and they're not in one place. So that's why I created it, and hopefully it will help people. If you like it, share it.
I have a cruise coming up in June, a river cruise in Germany. We're starting in Budapest, ending in Munich. And should I get insurance for that?
Unfortunately, you're too late for insurance. So the cancel any time insurance is a lot more money, but you'll get 75% back of what you paid. But usually that has to be bought within, I think, 10 or 14 days of when you purchased your trip. So what you could possibly do is cancel your trip and then rebook it and see how that works. If you can get your money back, because a lot of the cruise lines right now are refunding money.
I only paid a deposit and airfare. I mean, but that's a lot. I mean, because there's 4 of us, so it ended up being, I think I've already spent like $10,000 or $12,000 on just the airfare and the deposit.
And regular travel insurance doesn't cover this, especially if you bought it, in late January when this has already been a known event.
No, I bought it a year ago. Yeah, so
if you bought it back then, regular insurance, I'm pretty sure you would have been covered.
I should have bought the insurance then.
Yeah, well, that's what they tell you. Always buy your insurance when you purchase your travel.
But I didn't buy it. I only paid the deposit. But I guess you're right.
And get it through a third party.
Yes.
Sometimes people
because if the company goes out of business, so does the insurance.
Exactly. And full disclosure, I'm a brand ambassador for Allianz Travel Insurance, so I think they're the best. But there is a website called insuremytrip.com that will actually compare 22 different travel insurance companies to find you the best deal. But the great thing about Allianz is that they're on the ground in 6 continents. So if you really need something, they can help you. But in terms of getting your money back, and that's a lot of questions I've been having. A lot of people are like, I don't want to travel. I'm afraid to travel. The airlines, the hotels, they don't have to give you your money back right now unless it's to a hotspot. So my advice is to wait until the last minute, especially if it's like an airline ticket, and just monitor it to see if it's either going to be delayed, severely delayed, or canceled. And then you get your money back instead of just saying, okay, right now I'll do it. But just keep in mind when you do that, sometimes when you're on the phone with them, the hold times can be long. And once the plane takes off, it'll be harder to get the money back.
And, really, I've already seen numbers. This is going to just hurt the cruise industry, the airline industry, hundreds of billions of dollars. Are these fragile industries? Do you think some of these companies will go out of business?
Yeah, for sure. I unfortunately, Flybe just went out of business, although I don't think it was because of the coronavirus, but it definitely put them over the top. I think they were going to be gone anyway, but there are airlines like Norwegian that, they're depending on this summer to earn a lot of money. And if they don't, they're going to be in trouble. And there are, I think some Asian airlines, smaller ones like Hainan or Hong Kong Airlines. It's a tough time.
And it's a ripple effect because the restaurants, the hotels, all these canceled conferences are going to cost. Austin's going to lose a huge amount of money because they canceled South by Southwest.
But this is a good time to travel if you're into deals. I mean, I looked yesterday. You could fly across the country on American using 5,000 miles and $5.60. I mean, 5,000 miles to fly across country.
That's amazing. I should go visit my mom.
Yes, it's a good time.
Yeah.
You can fly, San Francisco or LA to Argentina.
Should probably
for
block
$400
the door.
round trip.
You can't come in. You were just on an airplane. But wow, yeah.
All the prices are so much cheaper. I bought a ticket to fly LA, New York for almost $500 for a party.
Yeah.
At American, it was $500. I just checked now; it's $296.
Yeah.
It's like I'm kicking myself.
But who wants to travel? JohnnyJet.com. His COVID-19 resource page is up right now. Really worth it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
I've heard from some people say, you know what, the best time to travel is now because it's only going to get worse. And then there might be a lull in the summer, but then it's supposed to come back again in the when flu season starts up again.
So the cancel. So I'm looking at AIG. They have a travel guard. Their travel guard deluxe for this trip would be $2,300. Probably worth it to do it at this point, but it doesn't allow cancel for any reason.
Well, it won't cover the COVID because it's like when there's a hurricane. If you go on a cruise and you don't buy the insurance, but then you see there are hurricanes coming, and then you try to buy insurance, it's not covered because that's already a named storm. This is a named storm.
Once it's a named storm, yeah.
And this virus is a named storm.
It does say sickness, injury, or death of an insured family member, traveling companion, but
if you do get the disease, it should cover it.
It would cover it, just not if you decided not to go.
Right.
Oh,
like hospitalization things.
The insured or traveling companion is quarantined.
Will they cover that? It's an interesting thing about being quarantined. So, off the Diamond Princess off of Japan, the cruise company covered it. But if you're in a hotel, they're like, who covers it? Usually you're not stuck with that. But again, it's always a good thing.
Our medical system is so messed up in this country. People are paying for their own quarantines and their tests.
Well, I've heard horror stories about people who don't have travel insurance and like either in Mexico and you have to pay cash and a lot of cash to get whatever emergency services you need.
Yeah.
So, and I also use MedJet, which is a good, they'll repatriate you to a hospital that you want to go to instead of the closest hospital to you. So if you're on a safari, you can get flown back home either on an air ambulance or they'll buy a first class seat for you.
Yeah, I have that. That's why I bought an Amex Platinum card. Every member of my family has a Platinum card because you get the Medivac insurance with that.
But that doesn't. I don't think that takes you to the hospital of your choice. They'll take you to the closest
any hospital's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, well, I don't have a choice, honestly.
So
as long as it's clean and they have doctors, I'm probably good.
Yeah. But so, by the way, how did you feel traveling? Were you stressed? Did you think other people were stressed, or was it just business as usual?
I think everybody was traveling and said, whatever. Nobody's taking it that seriously, except the people who weren't on the plane.
People coughing, sneezing, people.
People coughing. Yeah.
Because I've been seeing stories on Facebook with my friends like I sneezed on the plane and people looked at me like they were going to kill me.
No, none of that. It was actually as normal a flight as it could be, except for the fact that all the seats weren't sold. And there were a few people with masks on, but not that many. And there were babies on the flight. There were kids on the flight.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a good time to get some really good deals, and if you're careful,
St. Louis,
you don't sit next to some.
At the time, Missouri didn't have any cases, but we did. And if I were from Missouri and somebody from Northern California is coming, I'd stay away from.
There's cases everywhere. I don't believe that.
Yeah, it's testing, lack of tests.
They haven't tested it. They're trying to tell me that Iran and Hong Kong, all these places had places, but New York City or LA or San Francisco didn't. That's such BS.
That's a good point.
There's thousands of people who have it. So, anyway, it's just the people who are ill and older. You really got to worry about them. So they're now suggesting, the CDC is now telling older people to limit their travel and even going out.
By the way, that's people over 60. Me.
I
have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. I have all, but I feel fine. But I have been coughing a little bit because of the allergy season.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do.
Listen, you'll know if you have it.
Yeah, you'll know. Johnny, stay safe. Travel safe. Bye-bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. We're dancing. Marie's on the line from Yuba City, California. Hi, Marie.
Hi. A long-time listener, first-time caller.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you.
I have about 40 little snippets for daily thoughts, daily ideas.
Yeah.
And I'd like to put them on one recorder, one session. And the problem is when I started to do it, I would record it and then stop because I had to do something.
Yeah.
But I can't go back then and continue with the next one.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had an app or...
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So this is called audio editing, right? Obviously, I do it for a living. The idea is you can take a variety. You're doing audio recordings, right?
Yes.
And so the idea is you could make a audio recording, stop, make another one, stop, and then you're going to have 3 or 4 recordings, and you want to put them all together into one longer recording. Yes, of course. It's brilliant. There is and so there are a lot of different audio editing programs out there that'll do this. But let me look up this one that I've been using for a long time. I think it's called Auphonic. Let me just look it up because I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, AUPHONIC. And I think that they have, unless they have an app for the iPhone and the Android device. You can use it to record, or you can take recordings from another source. And it's free for up to 2 hours of audio a month. I bet you all those snippets together aren't 2 hours.
Oh, yes. There's about 40 of them, and they're about 10 minutes apiece.
Oh. Well, they are more than 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
40 times 10 is a lot.
I could probably cut them down. Down.
So, So Auphonic has, the other thing that's cool about it is it does all this stuff offline. So on the server, online, on the server.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a leveler, it can restore audio, it has a lot of neat features. It even will transcribe your thoughts and snippets into text, which is kind of handy. So that's the first one I would look at it as Auphonic. Now, are you on an iPhone or an Android device?
iPhone.
Yeah. So you do also with iPhone have GarageBand, which comes with all of Apple's devices, and it also does audio editing. So that might be another choice for you. You would open each snippet in Garage. It's a little harder because you have to kind of learn how to do it, but you open each snippet in a GarageBand, and then you can cut and paste into one main track, each one.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Just like it was text.
Yeah.
So you have one track that's going to be the master track. You open all the little ones and you copy just the part you want, cut it, or copy it maybe so you don't delete it, and paste it into the master track one by one. And then you'll have all of them together. And that's free. You already have that. In most cases, if you don't have it, you can download it for free from the App Store.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
That's another way to do it. And there are about 20,000 ways to do it. I use a program for the radio show for audio editing that is not online as well, called Twisted Wave. I should make this clear. Everything's online to get it. The question is where the audio editing is happening. With Ophonic, this is what's unique about Ophonic. They have storage and server-side editing and filtering. So I guess this comes from a day when the phone didn't have a lot of power. You would use Ophonic to store your recordings and edit them and so forth using their servers. Nowadays, your iPhone is probably more powerful than a supercomputer. So GarageBand or Twisted Wave would probably be more than enough to do the editing you need. I use Twisted Wave all the time. Anybody else have some suggestions? TechGuyLabs.com. Leave a comment, a suggestion. I think there are 8,000 programs to do this. It's one of the things that a lot of people do. And it's a great thing to do. Mark in Los Angeles, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Mark, are you there?
I'm here.
Hello. Sorry to keep you on hold so long. Welcome.
It's okay. So I have this iPhone 7 that I bought about a year ago. When I first bought it, it was really cool because it would make that little dinging sound whenever I got an email or a text.
Yeah.
It stopped notifying me when emails came in. It still did text. So I asked some friends. They tried to fix it by turning things on that weren't on. It didn't fix it. So I finally went to the Apple store, and they managed to get it to do it for two times, and then it stopped doing it again.
What?
And no matter who I go to, no matter what genius tech person I ask, they can't get it to the phone to make that notification.
So if you brought it to the Apple store, they did all the things I would suggest, which is obviously go into your settings and notifications and make sure notifications are turned on. You do that, by the way, in the settings app, not in the individual app. So you'll go to settings and you'll go to notifications, and then there'll be a list of all the apps you have. This is a weird thing about Apple. I don't like it that they do that, but that's how they do it. So you go to all the apps you have, and then you scroll down to the Mail app. Let me just scroll down to my Mail app right now in notifications and see. There should be a setting, and
I'm doing it right now.
And you've looked at it, right?
Notifications, and that's on.
Yeah, I turn mine off because I don't want to know, but I get a lot of email. So, but when you turn it on, you have a number of choices. You can have badges, lock screen, notification center, banners, but there's also a sounds setting. So you have to go within the notifications. Let me. I
have the sound setting for Bell.
And you do. Okay, now that's an interesting thing. Try another sound. Maybe your Bell is corrupted.
Oh, God, a corrupted Bell.
A corrupted Bell, but you'll notice there's a million alert tones.
There are. Okay, I changed it to popcorn just randomly.
Yeah, I actually like popcorn.
Okay, we'll see if that works.
Bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, boy, if that doesn't work, then there's something larger going on, and I'm not sure what that is. The fix, and I'm sure Apple said this to you, the fix would be to back up and wipe your phone and then restore it in case there's some software issue going on.
Yeah.
But
if I go down to the Apple store, will they help me do that?
Oh, yeah. And it's not that hard. It's easiest to do it if you have a computer with, do you have a Mac or a PC?
PC.
Yeah. So unfortunately, with Windows, you still have to use iTunes, but you connect it, iTunes launches, and there's you click on the phone, and you'll see a backup setting. Make sure you turn on encryption so you can back up all your passwords. That's fastest. It takes maybe half an hour. Depends how much it's on your phone to back it all up. Then you can go into the phone settings, and you could reset the phone, including all data and everything. And by the way, if you restore it, you might restore the flaw. So before you restore it, just see if you can get notifications. And if they're working, then restore it. And if they break again, then maybe it's something about something you've got installed, an app or something like that. But
wow.
Yeah, I would make sure your switch is on. Maybe the switch is broken. That switch is what silences. Do you hear other sounds? Does the phone ring?
The phone rings.
Phone rings. Okay.
The phone notifies me every time I get a text.
Yeah. So it's something going on with the sounds. I'd try another sound. It could just be Bell. A borked Bell would be bad. Yeah, but see if the popcorn works.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And you can hear it when you click on it, right?
I did, and it worked. Well, let's see. I'll click
See if
on
that
the
works.
bell.
Go to Bell. Actually, click Bell and see if Bell is belling. Maybe your bell is bad.
Yes, the bell belled.
The bell belled.
In fact, it looks like they all bell.
They all make noise.
Yeah.
So that means that means actually it's a good test because it means your speaker's working and the sound switch isn't muting it, and all of that part's working. So maybe, and you're saying it happens in messages now too.
No, I get text message alerts.
Oh, you do. It's just mail that's not working.
Yeah, it's just mail.
Okay. Well, there are also settings in mail that I would look around in these notifications.
Oh, wait. Here's another thing that happens. If I open the app and the mail app, and there's mail waiting to come in, and it will make a sound that sounds like a train, and then it'll show all these new emails. But it only does that if I open the app.
And you're using Apple's mail app.
I'm using Gmail.
Oh, the Gmail app.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, here's another thing but you don't have to erase the phone. It could be an issue with Gmail as well. You can set up the Apple Mail app to get your mail from Gmail. It works with Gmail. In fact, I prefer it.
Wow.
So that will ding. I don't know what's going on with Gmail, but that will ding for sure.
Can I just go on the internet and find out how to do that?
Yeah, there's it says in the Google Docs, but the documentation. But yeah, if you just Google using Apple space iPhone space mail with Gmail, there'll be a page. It'll probably be the top result with the settings. There's just a few settings you have to set. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. Instead of using Google's Gmail app, Gmail may not be working properly. That's probably why the Apple guy wasn't able to fix it, because they don't know. They know about their stuff, but they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least worth a try.
Yeah, and I can answer your question. It is safe to go to the concert. Go right ahead and don't worry about it.
Really?
Yeah.
He says it's safe to go to the concert, John. Why not?
You can go. The merchants of chaos just spend their whole lives trying to scare you into not living. Just go do it.
Oh,
the whole thing's going to blow over.
Enjoy life, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you croak, you will have enjoyed that concert before you croak.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I don't feel completely. I'm pretty healthy. I rarely get sick, so I'm not feeling too risky going anywhere. But I don't
sound very healthy on the radio. So
yeah, I don't want to infect my family, however. So, because my wife is a weakling. No. No. Yeah, somebody says it's a mail issue with iOS 13. You can check the forums, but he's using Gmail, not iOS mail. So I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, try that. I mean, there's definitely ways around it. And I'm going to go to the concert. Thank you. As long as they do it.
Yeah, if they don't cancel it.
But John and I are old.
Well, we're healthy.
We're healthy, but we're old.
Are you over 70?
No. Are you a physician or just a skeptic?
I'm a piano tuner, and
well, I trust my piano tuner, and he says go to the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the headphones for it. I don't want to waste all that money.
Leo, one time I tuned the piano in a newsroom at a news station in L.A., and the people that were in there actually told me how they put together the news, and they revealed all the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I was shocked at how trumped up and created the whole thing is, just to scare you. So
yeah, that's true. It definitely is good for ratings.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
All right. I'll take your word for it. But if I get sick and die, then I can just say, well, I enjoyed the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Mark. Take care. Mark is not a physician. He's a piano tuner. I just want everybody to know. Thank you, Lefty. I want you all to be addicted to Twit. Please. Please. For me, it is not a bucket list concert. And really, it isn't a bucket list concert for John. He's seen them already on this tour like 6 times. But for me, it's a rare opportunity to do the, connect to the board thing with my fabulously expensive new headphones. my fabulously expensive new headphones. TWIV is a good show. Highly recommend it. Vincent's a very smart virologist. Whatever he says, I would believe. He is almost as good as a piano tuner when it comes to that. Oh, that's a good point. Hey, John, what's the range on those headphones? Maybe I could just sit in the car. Yeah, no, I don't. I could wear them in studio. I have. These weren't cheap either. These Jerry Harveys. Anything with a mold is not going to be cheap. Supposedly on hard surfaces, the virus will live 9 days. As long as 9 days. So I have taken, when I go to the grocery store, all grocery stores now have sanitizing wipes by the carts, so I wipe everything down. Honestly, I kind of would like to get it. Then you're immunized somewhat, right? If I'm going to get it, I want to get it now before the trip in June. Yeah, that's a good idea. And wipe the seat. That's where the babies poop. If you'll forgive my French. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, COVID-19. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 8888 Ask Leo. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, let's talk high tech together. You can also join our chat room at irc.twit.tv or the website, techguylabs.com. It's there all week. So if you hear something on the show and you want to remember it or you can't remember it, you can go to the website. All that will be there. James DeRufo, my scribe, writes it as we speak. Jack in Garden Grove. Hello, Jack.
Hello, Leo. How you doing? Been around since Screensaver.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
You bet.
It was a wild thing. I was in St. Louis, and Patrick Norton, remember him as my co-host on the Screensavers, texted me, said, I'm here too. I said, what? The last time I was in St. Louis, it was with Patrick Norton. We did a Screensavers personal appearance in St. Louis outside the Comp USA.
Nice.
Signed about 1,000 autographs that day. It was amazing. Okay. Yeah, amazing day.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, here's my situation, Leo. I've been using Mac since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other night, I was using my Mac. I was working in Photoshop, and I had iTunes on. And I have ESET cybersecurity. A window pops up. It says another computer is trying to access your computer. Allow or deny. Denied it. It tried it 3 times.
Yeah.
And it said on there, it's coming from an Apple TV. So I'm thinking maybe one of the neighbors.
No.
No.
Do you have an Apple TV?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's probably your Apple TV. Did it tell you which Apple TV?
There was no way of knowing it.
This is one of the reasons I tell people do not put an antivirus on your computer. Antivirus companies have an incentive to warn you about things all the time. Because otherwise you'll think, well, it's not doing anything, which it's not.
Yeah.
So there is a networking technology all Macs and all Apple TVs have called Bonjour. It was originally called Rendezvous, but they thought that was too French, so they named it Bonjour, which no one can pronounce. And it is it's an automatic discovery network technology, and it is not all unusual for Apple devices within your network to talk to one another.
It's not turned on?
No, it's not asleep either. Unless you unplugged it, it doesn't ever turn off. I did
unplug it after that. So.
Well, yeah, it's fine for it to talk to your Mac. They're having a little hobnob session. Let me ask you this: do you have a router?
Yes.
Okay, so that router, unless there's something really wrong with it, is a perfect firewall. Nobody coming from outside your house will see anything inside that router. It's blocking it. It's invisible. Yeah. All they see is the router.
There's a password on it and stuff.
Yeah, and the router, just in the nature of the way it works. So what a router does is it gets incoming traffic, and it says, well, who's this for? But if it doesn't know who it's for, if the incoming traffic isn't part of an existing conversation, obviously if you're going to go to a website from your Mac, you've established a conversation, that website comes back through your router. The router says, oh, yeah, this is the conversation that you're having with the Mac, and routes it. But if it gets a packet saying, I don't know, I just want to see what I can see, the router goes, get out of here. So unless your router let me put it this way. Unless you have a nightmare scenario, that was traffic from inside your network.
Oh, don't say that.
No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. That was your Apple TV, and I bet it won't come up again. And what I would really do is get rid of ESET, because that's useless information. It's just scaring you. You don't need that.
I ran it, and it didn't show anything.
Yeah, there's nothing. So all the Apple devices talk to each other all the time. Because that way, if you have ever used AirPlay from your Mac,
this never happened before ever, and
because ESET didn't tell you about it. It happens all the time. So you on your Mac menu, you have a little AirPlay logo. It's a weird one. It's a square with an upward arrow. If you click it, you'll see your Apple TV. It won't now because it's turned off.
Yeah.
But how would it know that Apple TV's there? Because it's talking to it.
even when it's turned off, it's talking.
It's not turned off ever. The Apple TV just goes to sleep. It's turned off now because you unplugged it. It's the only way to turn it off.
Okay.
There's no off button.
Think it was a neighbor.
No, your neighbor. There's no way your neighbor's Apple TV could attack your network.
Too far away.
No. The firewall will go, what are you talking about? Get out of here. It doesn't. No. And here's the good news. Bad guys don't use generally Apple TVs to attack networks. No, it's not your neighbor. That's why your firewall is there. It's protecting you.
Well, I got ESET because you recommended it one time.
Yeah, but never for a Mac. Never for a Mac.
Never for a Mac. Really?
And that was many years ago. These days, Windows has its own antivirus.
Right.
I no longer recommend third-party antiviruses. And Apple, while it doesn't come with an antivirus, has very good firewall protection. Go on your Mac, look at the firewall, turn that on if you're worried. That's better than ESET.
I've never ever had a problem.
No, you're not going to have a problem. Apple does a great job. Their gatekeeper technology, they are doing an excellent job of protecting you. There are viruses out there, but you have to jump through hoops. You actually have to go out and get them if you want to get a virus. You're not doing that. Yeah. And it's normal for all your Apple devices to talk to one another. So ESET was just doing that so that you'd think, well, I'm glad I paid for it. Well, I'm very glad I have you. Nobody's Apple TV can get into your network. Your firewall prevents that.
Yeah.
And since you had now, if you said, "Oh no, I don't have an Apple TV," then we could have a conversation.
Okay.
And I bet you will not see any traffic now because you unplugged it. But it's harmless.
I never did before. And all of a sudden,
well, ESET never told you. You always did. Otherwise, when you pulled down that AirPlay menu on your Mac, you wouldn't see the Apple TV. That's how it knows it's there. They're talking all the time.
Wow.
It's called network discovery. It happens all the time. I see my Apple TV right now. If I click that AirPlay logo, I see the one in the living room. It's actually a studio, but it's in the living room. So that means they've been talking. They're having a conversation.
Oh, those dogs.
Those dogs behind my back. How dare you?
Oh, well.
It's harmless. Don't worry about it.
Well, you put my mind at ease.
Yes. And this is one of the many reasons I don't recommend antiviruses, because they tend to scare people unnecessarily.
Right.
It is normal. I mean, if you had anything on in your home network that was intentionally exposed to the outside world, you would see all sorts of traffic. I have a server that routinely 5 or 6 times a day, somebody from China tries to break into it.
No, really?
Well, everybody does. That's normal.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they don't get in, you're okay.
Well.
But that's why we often tell people, unless you know what you're doing, do not run servers from inside your house. Because anytime you have a server, you're opening up a hole in the firewall to connect to the outside world.
Well, shoot, I like I said, I put my mind at ease with this.
Good. See, that's why I'm here. All these years. Thank you. Yes, please do. Sanitize before you call. Hey, stay healthy. It's great to talk to you, Jack.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, Leo.
You're welcome. That's a part of the problem with a lot of security software is it raises unnecessary concerns. For instance, you run Malwarebytes or any scanner, and often they're going to come up with a long list of, quote, vulnerabilities, most of which are cookies. And I honestly think it's why people are so adverse to cookies. They scare them. Cookies are just settings. They're not inherently bad. There are some potential problems with tracking cookies, but many scanners will show cookies because you know why? Because then they can say, well, look, I'm doing my job. Look what I found. Look at all these cookies. It just makes you paranoid. And then what happens? What did people do? They Google. I'm under attack from my Apple TV. And malware authors aren't stupid. Here's a result from the web. I wasn't talking to you, Google. I wasn't. Google apparently, look, because I said you'll Google it, right? It says, I'm under attack from my Apple TV, and here are some results from the web. And guess what? Half of those results, they're going to be malware, because malware people are not stupid. They go, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm going to find somebody like Jack who's worried about malware, and I'm going to put a quote, fix-it tool on a web page. And they buy a lot of search terms, put up a lot of web pages, hoping that you will go out and Google your problem and that you'll download. And that's the most dangerous thing you can do, by the way. Download from a strange site. Oh, this will fix it. Don't. 8888, ask Leo the phone number. That's my number. If you want to talk high tech, I'd like to talk high tech with you. That's what I'm here for. I'm not just the tech guy. I'm your personal tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo. Mandy the clown in our chat room says, Leo, do you ever tire of telling people not to use an antivirus? To which I respond, Mandy, do you ever tire of wearing a red nose? And she says, yes. Heck yes. No, there's certain things I do say a lot. For 15 years now, I've been saying, don't open email attachments. 15 years I've been saying that. People still doing it. It's the number one way you get ransomware, so I know people are doing it. You'd think, Leo, that's inconsistent. You're saying don't open email attachments and don't install an antivirus. What do you mean? The only reason I say don't install an antivirus is because you have one on Windows 10 and you have pretty good protection on Mac. Your mobile devices don't need an antivirus because of the way mobile operating systems are designed. Most of the time, antiviruses just slow you down. And here's a really important point that's a little complicated and maybe even counterintuitive. But basically, the rule is install as the least amount of software you can. I know, I just set up a new laptop, and the first thing you do is you go out and you install everything. Well, I'm going to need that. I've never used that program, but I'm going to need it. Install hundreds of programs, right? The truth is every single one of them contains a potential to being a security problem. Any program running on your system is potentially a security flaw. Especially those programs that connect to the internet. Nowadays, that's everything. So absolutely part of our security advice, and I have a long list of things I recommend. Most important, update everything all the time whenever you can. Make sure you get all the patches. And then don't open email attachments from friends or strangers. Friends, usually it's from the boss. Don't run basically, the real rule is don't run programs from other people. Because in most cases, if you've got your system up to date, a bad guy needs to get you to run a program explicitly, get you to run a program to infect your computer. Usually those programs come as email attachments. They may look like spreadsheets or PDFs or word processing documents, but in fact, they're not. They're just mislabeled. And you double-click that, spreadsheet that the boss says, I got to get that done by the morning. You double-click it, and it's not a spreadsheet. It's a program, and it infects your computer. That's 99% of the time how you're getting infected. So the real rule, it's too complicated to explain this to people. The real rule is do not run programs from other people and install the fewest programs you can install. And make sure whenever you install a program, you're getting it from a trusted source. That program, you're trusting that program with everything on your computer every single time. So it's really important you only run programs from trusted sources and run as few as possible. That's the real rule. But it's kind of complicated, and it's hard to know. A lot of times that looks like a spreadsheet. You don't know it's not a spreadsheet. And so just don't open attachments is the safer thing. But honestly, it's running a program from a maliciously crafted program that's the real risk. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number line for Todd in Orange County. Hello, Todd.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Thank you. Hey, I've got a little bit of a problem. I need to provide my daughter's PTA with a MP3 song in an MP3 format for her variety show.
Aww.
That's edited to 2 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
And
so do you have the original? Is it on a CD? Where does the original live?
Well, I've got iTunes, so...
That's okay. iTunes will work.
Okay, so I purchased it.
99 cents, good deal. iTunes, if you look in it, has a converter that will allow you to convert. When you buy it from iTunes, it's in the format AAC, but it has a converter to allow you to convert it to MP3.
I've tried that, and it says that it's protected, and it won't allow me to do it.
Well, did you just recently buy it? You bought it a long time ago.
No, I just bought it.
What? They don't protect songs anymore? What the heck?
Yeah. I don't know.
You're doing it in iTunes, not with a third-party tool?
Yeah, I did it through iTunes, yeah.
You right-clicked on it and convert to MP3, and it says, I can't, it's protected.
Correct.
That used to be the case when they were using copy protection, but Apple and the music industry stopped doing that years ago. So I'm confused.
Oh, boy.
I'm confused. Well, okay. You don't have a CD with it lying around. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter, actually. It doesn't matter. Because you need to edit it before you do that anyway.
Okay.
So open it in GarageBand.
Okay.
You already have that. That is a audio editor, and if GarageBand says it's protected, then you just have to get a copy somewhere that's not protected. I don't understand why Apple's selling a protected copy. You can get an MP3 from Amazon. It's digital downloads, probably. Is it a common song?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you can always download it for another 99 cents from Amazon, and they download as MP3s. But the thing is, you can't edit an MP3. MP3s are, you need to convert it to a format you can edit, usually WAV, first anyway. So open it in GarageBand, which understands Apple's AAC format. If you can see the waveform, edit it, and then you should be able, with GarageBand, to save it out as an MP3.
Okay.
All right?
Give that a shot.
Give it a shot. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. What's the song?
Yeah.
What's the song?
Oh, the song is Don't Start by Dua Lipa.
Okay. I wonder, but it's strange that it's protected.
Yeah.
It must be really old or something.
No, it's a brand new song.
That's bizarre.
Within the last couple of years.
And do you have to take something out of the middle or just something at the beginning and the end?
And they were like, it's going to download as an AAC or in the AAC format.
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
This sequence of events, and you get to convert to MP3.
Right.
And I did that, and it said it's protected.
Huh. Well, what program are you using to edit it? Were you editing it in iTunes, or were you editing it somewhere else? Hello? Did I lose him? I think I lost him. Yeah, there's lots of ways around it. There's the so-called analog hole where you play it back and record it. So you can download a free program called Audacity that you can play it back in iTunes, Audacity, and have Audacity record that playback. Then you'll have a waveform you can edit and save as an MP3. There's lots of ways to do it. Well, Lefty, not much is going on over here. What's going on over there? I'm a lefty, too. Yeah, Audacity's free, and we'll do that. You could open the YouTube version in VLC, strip out the audio, edit that. There's about 8,000 ways to do it. Real Player? What? Real Player? What? I shall not forget. I am going to list all 8,000 ways to do this right now. I'll sound like Forrest Gump. You could take that MP3 and you can fry it. You can boil it. You could put it in a stew. You could put it in a gumbo. You can edit it with GarageBand. Hey, Miami. Hello, coffee. You know what I've been drinking? I've been drinking chai masala. Loving it. No coffee for me. Actually, this is a cup of coffee, but it's because I forgot to bring my chai. I found a very good chai on Amazon. And I've been making chai tea. Because I'm reading this book, Shantaram, all about, and they keep drinking chai masala, and I'm like, I want some chai masala. So that's why I'm drinking it. And it's good. I've always loved chai. But I used to buy the mixed chai, right? And that's no good because it's too sweet. But I will recommend this. I'll show you what I just got. So I got a mix, but I think a mix is not as good. It's a powdered mix as the one I got, which is Assam. Yeah, the chai concentrates are too sweet. But this is a nice Assam black tea mixed with cardamom and pepper. And line 2, Sunny, Virginia Beach, VA. Hello, Sunny.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. I wanted to get your opinion on the possible health impacts of wireless headphones, because I know you use the AirPods, and I had a pair of Beats X that I got rid of because of a Security Now episode a while back.
So you're worried about somebody hijacking your headphones?
No. Not technical impacts, the health impacts, because I remember you and Steve were talking about, it was a year or so ago, some Bluetooth exploit, and you made the comment to Steve that was probably one of the factors why he didn't use wireless headphones, and he said no, he was more concerned about the potential health impact.
I don't know what he's talking about. Well, I mean, I don't know how unsanitary it is. I wouldn't share headphones, but I don't think headphones in-ear. So there's nothing particular about Bluetooth headphones that makes them more dangerous. Is he thinking, oh, maybe like the radio waves?
Yes,
no. They're very. Did he really say that? Because it's very, very low power. And there's never been any evidence. And the truth is, if you use wired headphones, then you're just creating an antenna that goes from the phone, which is a much more powerful radio in it, into your ear. So there's no evidence that Bluetooth has any carcinogenic or other health impact. We keep seeing stories. Even the World Health Organization said, well, there's no conclusive evidence that it's harmful, but just in case, there's zero evidence. And the reason is the kind of radiation, both from your cell phone and Bluetooth headphones, that is coming off the radio frequency is what we call non-ionizing. So it's not the kind of radiation that can damage human cells, and it's very low power. Now, what Steve probably was alluding to is the well-known power ratio of RF of any kind. The strength of it diminishes with the inverse of the square of the distance. So if I am 1 foot away and I get 10 dB of power, if I go 10 feet away, it's reduced by not 1/10, but by 1/100th, the square of the distance, the inverse of the square of the distance. So your phone, because unless you're, got it taped to your head, is fairly distant, and most people know it nowadays use headphones, right? Bluetooth would probably be, I think, arguably be safer. There's no wire leading from the phone to the headphones going into your ear, and the Bluetooth transmitters itself are so low power, and at a frequency that is so harmless. I'll just repeat it again and again. There have been many studies. Cell phones have been in use for 20 years. There's no evidence that they cause cancers of any kind. Many, many studies. And I think the same, while Bluetooth hasn't been in use quite as long, it has been in use a long time, and I don't think there's any evidence that Bluetooth is harmful. I certainly don't avoid it. So I wouldn't worry about it. And I don't remember Steve saying that. I can't. I'll ask him. You know what? Tuesday. Steve's our security guy. Tuesday, I'll ask him. Steve, are you worried about radiation from Bluetooth? I don't think so. Paul in Victorville, California is next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Paul. Hello, Paul. Paul's asleep. I hear the hiss from the line, so I know we have a connection. Paul, now this happens sometimes. If you're muted, unmute. Sometimes you put your phone to your head and you accidentally hit the mute button.
Hey, Leo.
There he is. You were muted, weren't you?
No, this is Stan.
Oh, I just said the wrong name. Hi, Stan.
Yeah. Hey, Leo.
What can I do for? Are you in Victorville, California?
That's correct.
Okay. She wrote Paul. I don't know why she wrote Paul. Welcome. Sorry, Stan. What can I do for you?
Well, my problem is, and it's not really a problem, I have like 6 Arlo cameras around the outside of my home.
Yeah.
I have at least 6 Amazon Alexa devices inside the home. And whenever I arm my cameras, only one camera on my back patio will say, when it detects movement,
yeah,
all of my Alexa devices will say movement detected in back patio.
I love that.
The other cameras will do that.
Oh, none of us will do that, huh? Huh.
I was wondering, was there a switch I turned on accidentally?
I think so. Do you want it to do that, or you don't want it to do that?
I do want it to do that.
Yeah, I love that.
The cameras.
It's funny because I have a Nest doorbell, the Hello doorbell, and it used to, my Google stuff used to say, Joe's at the front door, and it stopped recently. This is the way it is with this stuff. It's just like nutty. So I think I would guess, and I'm not sure, Arlo comes from, I think it's Linksys, right? I can't remember who makes the Arlo cameras.
Netgear.
Netgear, that's right. So it's not made by Amazon, but almost every smart home device, including the Arlos, work with Amazon's Echo. So I'm going to guess that it is a setting either in the Arlo app or more likely in the Amazon A-word. I don't like to say the A-word out loud. The A-word app. So if you go to the ALEXA app on your phone, look for those Arlo devices. I bet you there's a switch that says announce or something like that. I don't have the Arlos, so I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat room has an idea. But this is one of the nice things, I think. Oh, is it a skill? Scooter X says it's a skill. So Scooter X, who's our chat moderator, do you have to enable that skill? How do you enable it on multiple cameras with the Arlo skill? So I guess what you do is you go up to each Echo device and you say, A-word, enable the Arlo skill. Or in the A-word app, search for the Arlo skill and select the Enable Skill button.
Okay.
To link to your Arlo account. So it seems like it's all the same Echo account, right? They're not on different accounts, are they?
Yes, they're all linked to Amazon already.
But it's the same account. It's your Amazon account, yeah.
Yes.
Boy, that's in, arlo.com/ALEXA is the site, and that's what I'm looking at right now, and they're talking about what you can do. What they're not mentioning is this great announce feature. I think that's a great feature.
It is.
Yeah.
It just started up all of a sudden one day.
Oh, you didn't have it before?
No, and I've had them for like 5 years. And
Did it make you jump the first time? What? Huh? That's really cool, and I'm not sure how you set it up. Scooter X, who must have Arlo cameras. So the trick on this is go in the A-Word app and have the A-Word discover your devices, and it'll show in the app all of those Arlo cameras. So you want to make sure that it knows about those cameras. I think that's probably what's going on, is it knows about one camera, it doesn't know about the rest. And that when you do that discovery, you're attaching those cameras to your Amazon account and to those Echo devices. And I think at that point they should all have the same capabilities. That'd be my guess. Thank you, Stan. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Kim says, I heard Paul. I swear to God, I heard Paul. Dickie.
Oh, I see you took a plane trip.
Yeah. So you live in the state of emergency.
I do. Now I do.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, there's a thing on the news last night that one drugstore was charging $50 for
and then 95
a bottle of Purell.
Purell. I was at the airport, and I thought, just on the off chance, I'm going to go to the airport store, see if they have any Purell. They had a whole thing of it. It was $3. I said,
at normal price?
At $3. I said, oh, you got lots of Purell? He said, yeah. I said, I'll take 200 bottles. No, I bought 2. I want to make sure there was enough for everybody. I guess they had it in stock. Okay. I was really pleased. And we have one of those giant Costco Purell bottles here.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, those are the ones you just get in it, right? And then you don't have to worry.
Now, the advantage, they're telling me one of the reasons that Governor Cuomo declared the state of emergency is that does put into effect laws that prohibit price gouging on things like
that's
Purell.
What happened yesterday is they said we can't do anything about it because the state has to be in a state of emergency.
Right.
So
yeah,
now they can.
And Tito's Vodka put out an alert that there's not enough alcohol in Tito's Vodka to make it sanitary.
Oh, how funny.
So don't make your hand gel out of Tito's alcohol. You need 151 or better.
Oh, that's it.
No. Hand washing, that's what I do.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have one of those phone UV sanitizers, the phone soap?
I do not.
Yeah, I wish I'd bought one of those. Micah has one. I'm very jealous.
No, as I tweeted, I've washed my hands more in the past 3 days than I did during my entire childhood.
Yes, exactly. Are you any conferences coming up that you're not going to be able
You know what? I'm going to talk about we did a couple of gadgets in the past from the Inspired Home preview.
Yeah.
And now the Inspired Home show in Chicago got canceled. That's supposed to start next Saturday.
I can only imagine. Oh, I have a new gadget. It's not it came on Friday, and I'm so intimidated by it. I haven't set it up. They actually set up a phone call with you to explain how to use it. It's called the Thermomix, and it's like. Oh,
okay. I thought you were gonna
look at the size of that thing.
Oh my gosh!
So
are you buying that?
I bought it. It was $1,500 freaking bucks, but it's got they have smart recipes, and I don't know what it does. I don't even understand it. But I read it. I read a review in Wired magazine that said this thing is the best thing since a bread slicer.
Oh my gosh!
It has a thing called cookie dough. Thousands of recipes. You can make soup in it. You can make rice in it. You can make meatloaf in it. You can make apparently you can make roti in it. You can do anything you want in it. Quick Thai chicken curry, all-purpose gluten-free. You can make flour in it. Warm caramel spice martinis.
Wow.
I know. It's kind of a crazy thing.
Wow.
I guess it's kind of like a blender that cooks.
Yeah, so I would have to choose between me going into the kitchen or having this in the kitchen.
Yes, it's too big for your kitchen. All right, everybody. Let's all do it. I have a Vitamix, so maybe I didn't need to buy this. I don't know. We are family, ladies and gentlemen. From the state of emergency, it's Dick DeBartolo, our gizmo wizard. We call him the Giz Wiz. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
I am very well. How are you? New York State now has declared a state of emergency, much like mine. So we are both in a state of emergency.
Oh, my gosh. I know.
Yeah.
But you were brave. You took an airplane trip, which...
I know.
Evidently was fine.
It was a death-defying act, Dickie D. So far, death has not caught up with me, but who knows?
No, that's good.
There is an incubation period. I could be a carrier right now, and you wouldn't even know it.
Okay, I just got to get back a little bit from my microphone just in case.
Social distancing of 3,000 miles.
Yeah, I know. I love that. Stay 6 feet away from people. Well, there are 5 million people a day who take the subway. So that's pretty hard to do. You would be in Vermont if you would stay 6 feet away from 5 million people.
Dick comes to us from Disneyland in the beautiful Upper West Side of Manhattan. And he is a gadget and gizmo collector and expert. What do you have for us this week?
Well, I'm glad to hear that you just bought a device for $1,500.
Yeah, cooking device.
Because I have a device. I hope you haven't bought the Spin.
No, what's this?
Oh, okay. So during
Oh my God, centrifugal brewing?
Yes. Do you know about it?
No, I'm reading your website, gizwiz.biz.
Yes. So this company has decided that centrifugal force,
instead of pressing or pumping, you spin.
You spin it, okay? And so like regular coffee, 500 revs. Espresso, 5,500 revs.
What does that sound like?
Well, you know what? It's very interesting because I think this has been around for 3 or 4 years. And at the Food Tech Expo, the guy was saying, yes, we're a year or 2 years behind because we found out that people said it's too loud.
Well, yeah.
So it's being totally redesigned and the motor is now deep in the pot and you don't hear it. So they not only does it use centrifugal force with a motor, they've worked with like 150 different coffee growers that they grow their beans and then they type in to a computer the best temperature and way for these beans to extract the best coffee.
I want this. But my wife has already said there's no more counter space. It looks good, and you can do it from bed.
And you can do it from your bed, and also the coffee grinds tell the coffee pot how to set itself.
I am such a sucker for internet-connected cooking devices.
You will love this because it has nerd control. Nerd control for those who want to go in and set more parameters how hot is your water?
Oh, yeah.
Wait
a minute. It doesn't heat up the water. Does it heat up the wife? What? Does it heat up the wife? Does it heat up the water?
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Yes. So and then when it's done, the grinds go into a separate compartment where they are just dry grinds when the machine is done, which you instantly take out and put in the garden.
Oh, yeah. It's a very good compost, and it's already dried out.
Yes, exactly.
I thought you were going to say
now,
it grinds it so fine and sprays it around the house so you don't even...
You never see it.
No, you never see it, except your house has a strange coffee aroma.
And you have to dust more than you used to.
A little.
That was the side problem. Well, this little guy cost. Do you want to take a shot at the price?
$1,500?
Oh no, no.
How much?
A little more than half of that. $800.
Oh, that's nothing.
Okay,
that's nothing.
It's called Spin with two.
I think I have a problem, Dick.
I think you do. I think you do. You're the only person I know who goes on Amazon looking for things. Oh, too cheap.
My June oven.
My June. That was $1,600.
Yes, it was outrageously expensive, and then they reduced it to like $300 or $400, which made me mad. Oh man, I have the Mellow sous vide cooker.
Oh my god!
I don't even remember how much that cost. I blanked it out probably.
You could have a holdup just for people coming for your appliances.
I know. Your appliances are your life. Well, I could use the counter space. Thank you.
Oh, well, you must have a monster kitchen, no?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to put it in between the Vitamix and the bread mill wheat grinder. Or maybe I'll put it between the Magic Bullet and the orange juice presser. It could be to the left of the Cuisinart and to the right of the June oven. I don't know. It's actually not counter space. It's plugs. I'm running out of plugs.
Oh, okay. See, in my kitchen, I think, can this go between the salt and pepper shaker? Or can this go between the napkin holder and the paper towel? That's how much counter space I have. Anyway, I know that you like unique ways to make coffee. So
John is giving me the solution. Wow, you get one plug socket and you get to plug in 3 devices.
There you go.
Amazing.
There you go.
How much is this? Where do I get this? Is it internet connected?
$3.87. I have a bunch of those.
I did not take home the Roadie-Matic, which was the multi-$1,000 automatic roti maker. That's the Indian flatbread.
Yes.
Colleen has that. I didn't take home the air fryer. Father Robert has that. Makes tater tots in seconds.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I have a problem. I know. I have a problem. My kitchen, whenever I go in the kitchen, the PG&E goes brown. Browns out. Actually, this is cool. This looks cool. I would like to taste the coffee before I go for it, though. It seems like in theory, it sounds like a good idea. The Spin with 2 ends. You can find out more about it at gizwiz.biz. And while you're there...
Oh, Leo, did you know what last month's gadget was?
To me, it looked like a power cord holder. What was it?
Well, you were very close. I found this. I was looking for LED lighting for my spotlights at Disneyland, and this showed up on one of the pages, and I thought, people will never, ever guess this. It is a way to connect 2 wires together.
Oh, it's a splicer.
Yeah. You strip the wires, stick them in there, close the 2 levers.
Oh, and what does it do? Spins them?
Makes a connection. No, I think it just snaps down on them.
Oh, it just holds them.
Yeah. But
nice.
50 people knew.
Oh, yeah. People are smart. So what Dick does is he gives away autographed copies from Mad Magazine. This ended February 29th, last day of the month. Now there's a new one, started March 1st. What is that? Go to the website, gizwiz.biz, click the What the Heck Is It contest, and look at a close-up picture of a gizmo or gadget. Identify it. You're in the running for up to 6 autographed Mad Magazines for the right answer. But I should point out there are 12 for the best cute silly answers. Details, rules, all of that available at gizwiz.biz.
Yes.
Thank you, Dickie D. Don't forget his wonderful podcast, gizwiz.tv, which is really a lot of the reason I'm broke. There's a site, this is why I'm broke.
Yes, I know. You should be hosting that.
I should be on it. They have... we were talking about it this week because Steve Gibson found on there a little... sometimes you want to plug something into your socket, but you want it to go down. It's a little thing that comes out of your plug socket, but it looks like a nose. So it looks like you're plugging into the nose.
Oh, that's funny.
It's hysterical. It's like a nose plug socket. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy. See you next week.
See you next week. Hey, thank you to Lady Laura, our musical director, Kim Schaffer, for answering the phones. Thanks most of all to you for joining me, for calling in, for listening in. I'm Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Stay healthy and have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.